It's time to start streaming. Okay, we're good. There's the @everyone. There's the tweet. Here is the chat. Yep, we're live. Hey guys. How y'all doing? It's been I want to say 3 weeks, 4 weeks, something like that. From the last time I streamed. But what's up guys? How y'all doing? Can you hear me good? Is my audio fine? Is the music fine? I don't know if it's like too loud right now. It's not really that loud on my end, so I don't know if I'm like drowning it out or if it's just like, cuz it's kind of quiet, but I think we're good. I'm like probably drastically louder than it. Y'all are just shit posting in the chat. Can I get an answer? Can somebody tell me if I'm too loud? I want to know these things. Can y'all actually even hear me? Okay, we're good. Everybody was just like shit posting in the chat, so I didn't know what was going on. But yo, episode 26, man. Okay, before we talk about episode 26, because there's gonna be like a jump on my channel from like episode 22 to 26, because I didn't watch I watched the last 4, but I didn't stream and review them. I just want to say real quickly, those episodes were all great. The last episode for Talking Head and Clash, the actual fight episode, is great. They did Squall and Tajano justice in the anime. I really like their voices and the way that they handled their characters. I thought it was really good. We'll get some visuals. There we go. Because this episode has some really good shots, but the other 2 episodes that were also really good were the BIG episodes, the last 2. Those episodes are great. Everybody's been making jokes about the whole Notorious chase. Because in context, sure, it makes sense. It just sounds funny when you go from Notorious BIG to Notorious Chase. It's weird. But yo, real talk. This episode, right? Episode 26, the Doppio episode. I'd say that this is one of the best episodes of JoJo. That's my hot take. I think that they did Doppio so much justice in showing just how like crazy Diavolo is as a whole, because you know Doppio's Diavolo, everybody gets that. They make it very clear with this episode. They like point out a bunch of times, they're like, you have multiple personality disorder, and then you can see it with his eyes. That was like one of my favorite details, when you see like the eye switch after his eye twitches and stuff. Like the way that they handled it in the anime is just like, it's so good, dude. It's so good. This episode is really great. And it's funny too, because you always see people online talking about, oh, Doppio is all great, he looks all soft and this and that and like cuddly and cute, and it's like, no, that is a very crazy man. He is a murderer. He is a drug lord. You know, he's a mafia boss. He's crazy. But Doppio, man, piece of trash. Real talk, Chief. I'm gonna have to hard disagree with you on that one. I think your opinion right now is a piece of trash. Ha! Got him. But no, in all seriousness, no. I think that they did a really good job with this episode. They did Doppio so much justice. Like, the way that they animate all his little quirks in showing the 2 different personalities between Doppio and Diavolo is just great. Like, this episode just looks really nice overall also. And again, I'm a big fan of the way that they animated his little quirks. The way that his eyes just, like, twitch and bulge in and out before he switches personalities, and the way that like when he picks up a phone, or what he thinks is a phone, and he starts talking to himself when he's calling the boss, the way that he'll have one eye as Doppio's eye and the other eye as Diavolo's eye is just like, it's so good, dude. It's so good. Overall, like, I think that they just did Doppio way too much justice. I say way too much in like the best way possible, by the way. Like, they're making Diavolo out to be super cool when they actually show Diavolo's like full-on face in the anime, and you know, you see him with his Laffy Taffy hair. It's gonna be really good, because the way that they keep hiding it has just been like so great. It's been so enjoyable, especially with this episode. He keeps putting emphasis on the fact that he can't let anybody see his identity, and you know, That's part of where he has this whole split personality thing going on, and the way that they handled the backstory too is really good. X-Force pointed this out because he was talking about it on his podcast, but he made a tweet, and I retweeted it. So if you guys follow me on Twitter, or you don't follow me on Twitter, the link's in the description somewhere, or it's on my channel somewhere. You go there and go through like my tweets real quick, like scroll back, and I retweeted a post that he pointed out, or a post that he made where somebody pointed out that because they show, you know, Diavolo's backstory or whatever, and they show him meeting Trisha's mom and stuff like that, and they pointed out the fact that all of her characteristic traits were characteristic traits of Trish that are written down in Trish's introduction page in the manga. I just thought that was like a really cool detail for David Pro to just throw in there. It's like, all right, we're gonna have to animate her for this flashback. What are we gonna do? We're gonna have her point out the traits of her daughter. Where is her daughter gonna get those traits from? Probably the mother, you know, just random stuff like that, or they would at least have similar traits, because it's kind of just the way that stuff like that works. But it was really good, man. It was really good. The like tension in the backstory, the way that they just like handled it all, showing his like descent into madness, essentially, the way that Diavolo just throws himself into it when he kills the priest and he lights everything on fire and burns down the village. Like, this shit was just, it was so good. Like, they did him so much justice, dude. They did so much justice, and I really don't think like I don't see how you can think that Doppio looks bad, piece of trash. Like, I think that you're just, I don't know, I think you're tripping. You said you haven't seen the last 4 episodes, you've only seen the pictures on screen. Dude, he looks great. Even in these screenshots, he looks amazing. So I don't know what you're talking about. Go watch the episode. It looks a lot better in motion. But even still, with the screenshots, dude, he looks great. The only thing is, in the manga, his freckles are more visible. That's a very small nitpick, you know? Yeah, I would say this is one of the best episodes out right now. I think this is the best episode of Vento Aureo right now. But I also think that this is like top 5 best episodes of JoJo's anime. Which I might sit down and make a top 5 JoJo anime episode video after the Vento Aureo anime ends, just because I don't want to do it now before this is done, because we could get a really good episode coming up soon when they get into some of the more crazy stuff of part 5. So I'll save that conversation and that video, a discussion or whatever, for whenever that actually happens, because I don't want to, you know, talk about it yet, just because we're in the middle of the anime. But this is definitely one of the best looking episodes, and this is just one of the best episodes in general. It was really good. There's a lot of tension. The way that they just like Doppio is so animated. You know, when you say that something is animated, you're just like talking about how expressive something is. That's, you know, the way that people use that word when they say something is really animated. They're talking about expression and stuff like that. Doppio, man. They did him so much justice. The female prison on the island remind me of Dolphin Street. I don't know if he was like, it's like, it probably is just coincidence, but if he like looked at that and was like, hey, we could do something else with like this concept, this idea of like prison, I wouldn't be surprised if that's where he got it from. Yeah, like people always get weirded out by color swaps in the anime because they're like so used to seeing one color, but there aren't really like very specific colors that are immediately like the only option, since Araki just draws a bunch of different color palettes for all his characters. Of course, there's the ones that he'll, you know, use more consistently. But if something ever has a different color palette, it's just, it is what it is, you know? They have so many. Like, at least stuff like King Crimson and all that stay the same for the most part. Doppio's hair in the PS2 game was red. Yeah, because there's a red color palette for Doppio. Oh, and also, this part of the episode was kind of funny. When they have Doppio getting inside the taxi to take him to the Emerald Coast, and he drives right past Nero. It's like, he's looking for Nero, and he's trying to get to him, and then he just drives right past him and doesn't even realize it. Which is kind of cool, too, because, like, maybe Risotto noticed him in the car when he drove by, or he sensed like his stand or something, even though he didn't have it active. Some random explanation for him to have, tailed him all the way out on foot compared to a car out to the Emerald Coast. But according to Doppio, it wasn't too far from where they were, so probably didn't, take too much energy. But that means the Risotto is really damn fast for him to just be able to catch up to him like that. And the way that Risotto throws himself off the cliff in this episode is so damn funny. He like retreats for a moment when he notices Aerosmith. He's like, oh, they're here, they're trying to scout the area, we gotta get rid of that. And then he just throws himself off the cliff. It was pretty funny. They have to animate Risotto's backstory next episode. Probably. Imagine Stone Ocean anime with Vento Aureo animation. I want the Stone Ocean anime to look like this, but better. Like, every single time we look at JoJo, or just any anime in general, I always look at stuff, and it's like, oh, the same studio's doing this. This was really good. I want them to do better than that, They gotta improve. But yes, I agree. I want Stone Ocean to look really good and get the love and treatment it deserves. Which, by the way, I'm very happy that a lot of people have liked my what makes Stone Ocean video, or what makes Stone Ocean good video, because I had wanted to make that for a while and talk about it. And I saw somebody mention in a comment, they were like, you barely spoke about any of the wrong things in it. And it's like, I've already spoken about those things in other videos. It's like Yo-Yo Ma is not that great of a fight, whatever. Dragon's Dream, I like the stand concept. I think it's like a cool idea. The stand itself is whatever. Planet waves, whatever. Meteors are cool. That's it. Survivors, ass. I've mentioned that. I mentioned that the beginning was slow in the video, and I said, that they had to introduce stuff. So it was a really weird comment at the fact that somebody was like, oh, you didn't talk about any of the bad things. When I did mention the bad things, he just didn't pay attention to it, I guess. Could I debate Medi on it? I mean, there's nothing to really like. The thing with me and Medi talking about Stone Ocean is we don't really have like we don't really have to like. There's not much of a debate between us, between the two, When it comes to Stone Ocean, like, he doesn't like it, but he went back and like read through parts of it again and stuff, and like we talked about it after he did that. And he himself mentioned, he tweeted about it, he was like, this isn't all that bad, or at least as bad as I thought it was before. So even he's grown to like it a little more, Medi just doesn't favor it, which is fine. And I do. That's pretty much all there is to it. That's pretty much it. So if we were to ever like sit down and debate it for like a video, it would just be, hey, I think this part is really good, and he'll either be like, yeah, or he'll be like, oh, it's okay, and that would pretty much be it. I feel like they kind of got lazy with the back of his hair in some shots. Well, they can't make every single like last second of everything look god tier. That's the thing. They focus on making all the important stuff look really good, like this. When he's getting attacked by Metallica, oof, that was great. That was really great. Hand-to-hand combat is really cool. Survivor's just like, whatever. It's just a boring stand. Like, oh, everybody's fighting. It's cool in some scenarios, but in that scenario, it was kind of just like, eh. Limp Bizkit as a concept is pretty cool, too. I like the way that the stand like works with the dead crocodile. The zombie crocs. Those are pretty cool. Oh, and also this scene right here, towards the end of the episode, where Doppio gets the frog phone and he's speaking to the boss, and like this right here where he says, "Oh, my adorable little Doppio," and he gives him King Crimson's epitaph, because it's him. He's giving himself his stand ability. This is so good. Like this shot right here, I think looks so amazing. It's so gorgeous. Look at this shit. It looks good to me. It looks really good to me. But that entire like portion of the episode, that the last like minute, was just so good. It was so good. I'm a fan of it. I thought it was amazing. Real talk. Yeah, I mentioned this in a tweet that I also put out because I saw somebody like make a post where it was like, haha, they're gonna make it all black XD, and like they were like making fun of people who were saying that. Which I was the person that was saying that months ago before there was ever any information on Vento Aureo as an anime even existing, and that was just because of how they censored stuff in like parts 1 through 4. And this is the way that they've been censoring things in this, which I can actually pull up an image. Okay, we're gonna go here. I think I have it saved as Lucas Fingers. No, I gotta look fingers. Here we go. Okay, look at this image, right? We're gonna shrink this down, right? So you have, this is from episode 1 of Vento Aureo, right? This is Lucas Fingers. So they're like chopped up little fingers and stuff, right? His fingers like got cut off, and they're censored where, you know, the joints are, because it's all cut open and you can see like the blood and the little bits of flesh sticking out. And it's like censored because they probably drew like bone or something there that they didn't want to show. It was like, you know, too gory, right? But then when you have things like this, if my computer would cooperate, where is it? And I also pointed this out in my tweet, by the way. I spoke about this in my tweet when I like made it, because I was like, people were picking fun on others for thinking, oh, you know, they're gonna censor everything, and it was like, no, we were just making assumptions off of things that we had knowledge of prior. Here's Mista getting shot in the whatchamacallit, on the train, right? Okay, so big difference between these two images, right? Well, aside from the fact that I apparently don't know how to crop these out, whatever. I don't care about the actual size of this. It doesn't matter. But the big difference between these two, now my OCD is bothering me, so I'm going to try and get it somewhat even. Okay, that works. The big difference between these two is with Mista, right? You can clearly see that he's all like, you know, on the ground. He got shot in his head. There's a bunch of blood all over the place, right? But you see like the holes. The holes are kind of darker, but they don't have to censor the holes in his hat, because you can't necessarily see the wound where it would be the hole in his actual skin, and they would maybe draw out like, I don't know, some of like his insides from his head, but you can show all the blood, right? So they've been doing this thing where they can put blood over wounds or wherever there's damage, and they don't have to censor it because the blood already kind of censors it, since they don't have to show the detail. So like there's another image on here. It was the one right before this, damn. I'm just gonna pull it up individually. But there's one before this where the fortune teller has his own hand in his hand, and he doesn't like realize it or whatever, and he's like, aha, I have my hand. Here, I found it. It's this picture, right? So he has his hand in his hand, and as you can see, it's like blacked out kind of over like where his hand is like ripped off, and they don't have to censor this because excuse me, they're not really like showing anything, you know? Like they didn't draw any details here like they might have with this, where the fingers they might have had like actual detail drawn. They don't have any detail drawn here, and that's where they don't have to really censor anything. You can see the blood and you can see him holding his own hand, but they don't have to censor any of that because they're not showing anything that they can't show, you know? Same thing with this. And this here, you know, with Mista's head, you can see the bullet wounds, but you can't see like into the wound itself. And also with this shot right here of Doppio, literally like about to poke this guy's eyeball out of his head. He's like digging his finger under his eyeball, and they don't have to censor this though because they're not showing his eye come out in like a really gruesome way. He just like puts his finger there into his eye socket, and he kind of starts to like poke it out. But that's how they've been handling the censorship. I caught on to this not too long ago, just like realizing it, because they've they've just covered it up with blood. You don't have to censor it if you can't see it. That's how they're also been able to get away with stuff like Illuso coughing up a ton of blood in the Purple Haze fight and stuff like that, where they can just be like extra gruesome. They've been able to do that because they don't have to show everything to, you know, get the point across. So if they don't show gore, what are they going to censor, you know? That's kind of weird for people to be like, haha, you're stupid for thinking they were going to censor this, LMAO, when they've censored other stuff in the past before that you would think Why would they censor this? Like when they censored Jotaro's mouth when he smoked a cigarette in part 3, you know? It's kind of weird. But then you get stuff like this and the Giacho fight where Mista's hand is getting like frozen off and stuff like this, and it looks, you know, pretty ew. But it's just blood and his skin, so they don't have to censor anything. You guys get what I'm saying? Did they do it with Popol's finger as well? I couldn't remember if they did it with Popol's fingers. Giorno's foot and Iluso's arm are the only things they've censored. Yeah, and those are probably things that they've showed like in, you know, super high detail. Probably next episode they might censor some stuff. We still have to see Doppio with the scissors in his throat and other stuff like that. They'll have to censor stuff like the foot next episode. They might. It depends. It depends. But that's how they've been like getting around that bypass of not having to necessarily censor their work, you know? Like right here, if Doppio's bloody nose had like, I don't know, his nose bone sticking out, then they'd have to make like a giant black bar over his nose or something. But they don't gotta do that. They don't have to censor the razors coming out of his mouth because look at the amount of blood around them. The blood is just coming out with all the razors, so you don't have to censor anything. Also, this is a really funny line. Same with the pins. Noses don't have bones. Oh, you're right. It's just cartilage. You get what you get my point, though. You get my point. You get the sentiment. Yeah, they didn't have to censor the pins either because there's so much blood on screen when the pins came out of his cheek. But there is nothing for them to put there. You know? They're also probably just not animating all that gruesome stuff when they do stuff like that for those shots in the first place. That's just a guess, though. They probably could still be drawing stuff. Who knows? I mean, in most shots where it's just like a ton of blood, I doubt it. Next episode is going to be sad. A lot of people aren't going to see that coming that are anime only. And it's going to throw people off. It's going to be very upsetting. We're going to have to do a tribute next week. I'm going to have to do a shameless plug when that happens on the community tab on YouTube and be like, hey, go watch this video I made a couple months ago. Because spoilers, we are getting close to a character death. We get a character death next week. Assuming that they show it in the episode. They could always just not show it in the episode, you know, but they probably will. Or they'll end the episode on that. That would be pretty sick. If they end it on like a cliffhanger, like right as the death happens, it's like, oh, that would be OD. Absolutely bonkers. Still a half measure though. Censorship should be even less. And again, it might be in a Team 10 slot. Or they're saving it for the Blu-ray. Yeah, exactly. It could just be something that they're going to save for the Blu-ray. See, like, even this scene though, like, she's got like her mouth stitched in and like they don't censor anything like that. And she's still alive. And then, God, the scene is so good, man. Diavolo is a sicko. He's a messed up guy, man. He is so fucked in the head. He is very evil. That's what makes him a really cool villain, though. He's genuinely like a very, very, very terrible guy. Like, he's a messed up person, man. He's a messed up person. How much time do I think the 7-page will last? The 7-page Muda? Probably like 40 seconds. Something like that. The animated Jotaro's auras against Steely Dan, and that was like what, 30 seconds, I think. And it was like less pages, so it'll probably be like 40 seconds to a minute, maybe, of just like rapid punches. I don't know. That's a long rapid punch sequence. That's a whole minute of an episode out of a 22-minute episode. Basically a 21-minute episode, because you have like the minute of the intro and the minute of the outro. Rather it be heavily censored on TV and freely visible on Blu-ray? Not really. Don't do anything significantly changing camera angles in order to avoid the black bar censorship. I mean, changing a camera angle to not show something right away is like, I don't mind it really. I don't really mind it. Yes, we are getting close to that return. I can't wait. Because he hasn't been shown off at all yet in the anime. Or teased or anything. It's going to be so sick seeing him. Because I love his design in this part. I love his design in this part. So good. So good. Yeah. This too right here where they're showing the eyes change as he shifts from Doppio to Diavolo. This was so good, man. This was so good. I am such a huge fan of this. Like, they seriously outdid themselves this episode. I really think it was super great. Very, very good. Rather, the Blu-ray be as accurate as possible representation of the manga. I mean, this is already like really good. Now, some people might argue and be like, "Oh, it's like even a little better than the manga," just because of the fact that like they add stuff to it and just just the fact that they have like voices and the animation and stuff like that. The music is really good. The voice actors themselves are like really good people that they have doing the roles. I'm always going to be a, oh, there we go. There we go. I'm always going to be like a source material person, or like, I like going to the source material, looking at that. But I always will say the JoJo anime is like really good. They always outdo themselves. This is probably one of the best anime adaptations out there, in my opinion. Wonder what they'll add to the origin of Stan's flashback. Dude, that's gonna look so sick. You just reminded me that that's gonna happen, and that's probably gonna be like really cool. That's gonna be really good. I can't wait. It gives them an excuse to show Dio again. Or not Dio, they'll show Enya with the arrows. Oh, of course we're gonna get an alternate opening. The very last episode is gonna have like a different opening. They always do it. I could see that, Elson, but like, I do like that they showed the backstory before the fortune teller scene, because it's just there for the extra bit of context as to what's going on, because then it just goes to like present day, and it's like, oh, you just see Doppio walking around, and then he does the thing, he has the encounter. They might do that next week, Fernie. They might do that, because next week is when the actual Metallica fight starts up. Dude, the opening's probably gonna skip. Do a bunch of that stuff. It is raining really hard right now. Whoa. Think there'll be an alternate for CR or just GR? Oh, I didn't even think about that. Maybe they'll have both of them in the same opening. That's what I think would be really cool. If they have the special opening with the skips or whatever they do, it's gonna be the skips. And then they have GER in it and have him like cancel it and make it resume or whatever, or something along those lines. Like, that sounds so cool to me. That sounds really cool to me. I don't know about you guys, but I like that idea. Yeah, it's really good. Orange juice is really good, by the way. Well, fellas, I think that's pretty much everything I got to say about this episode. It was really good overall. I think that they did Doppio Diavolo all the justice that he deserves, because he's a really great villain. And just this episode, man, there's so many good shots in it. So many moments where it looked really nice. Next episode is going to probably look super good too. That'll never not scare me. Thank you, Fadiwadi, for subscribing. Welcome to the channel. Appreciate it. That's my favorite opening up until now. I still think it's still Fighting Gold. Urugiri Mono no Requiem is growing on me a lot. Like, it's really good. But I still think Fighting Gold is my favorite one as of now. It's just, like, engraved in my head. Because ever since I heard it, when the first episode came out, it was just like, whoa. It stuck with me, you know? It was really good. But, that being said, thank you guys so much for coming out to the stream tonight. Appreciate it like always. And this is pretty much a really good spot to just end things off right here with these last couple screenshots. You guys can follow me on Twitter at FreightKugel. Link is in the description down below. You guys can subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate it if you're watching this at a later point. Hello, welcome, stick around. I appreciate it a lot. I am going to go work on other videos for the night. And then probably just hang out. It's Friday, you know, JoJo Friday. Everybody go have some fun. Go have a good rest of the night. I don't know what time it is for you right now. If you're in the canon time zone, then it's 10:30. But if you're in the non-canon time zone and you're 3 hours behind, then it's 7 o'clock. So you probably are still going to go do stuff. So have fun, everybody. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate it all. And I will see you guys next time. Oh, we got another subscription right there from Alf Draws. Thank you for subscribing right before the stream ends. I appreciate it, man. But yeah, thank you guys so much for stopping by. I will see you guys whenever we continue doing more. Probably tomorrow I'm going to upload a video playing some more Dragon Ball and stuff. Dragon Ball is really good. You guys should get the game. But yeah, enough shilling, enough stalling. Thank you guys. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.